gets in, lads. Gregg Berhalter is officially out of the U.S. men's national team. Thank God. So we're here to talk about potential replacements in the upcoming manager search that they're doing. So if that interests you, make sure to stick around for the rest of the video. Also, before I get into it, leave a like if you are very happy that Gregg Berhalter is out of this team. I know I am, so I'm going to be liking the video myself. But let's get into it first. Diego, give us your first name as to who you might be thinking about in terms of replacing this team. If there's one name that stands out to you, what is it?
Okay, so when I was doing my research, there was a lot of like different types of coaches that were being considered. Obviously, there was like the really unreasonable ones, like the Jurgen Klopps and the other top like managers that personally thought was just complete like that was never going to happen.
Okay.
Then there was I thought an interesting point where like it was the top MLS coaches because that tends to be the ones that the U.S. will gravitate to because they know they can probably
Right.
acquire them.
Mutual growth. Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
Mutual growth. And so I was looking, and to be honest, I wasn't super impressed with all the available managers outside.
Hmm.
I thought there was a bit of a lack, like my opinion was Jesse Marsh from the beginning. So
Of course.
I thought
Of
it was
course.
disappointing to look at what we have now, and just like and the reasonable acquirers that we could get, and it's just not it.
Hmm.
So I found two managers that I think
Give
I
it to me,
like a
Diego.
lot. The one that's the unreasonable probably grab because he probably wouldn't want to leave at this point in time is the American in the Bundesliga, who's currently
Oh,
the coach of Hoffenheim,
Matarazzo.
um, Pellegrino Matarazzo. I think he would be such a fun and great manager to get for the U.S. He
Yeah.
fits the American condition that we all like to. Obviously it's not a requirement, but it's nice.
Right.
Um, and he just got Hoffenheim into I think it was a Europa League spot.
Yeah.
And he's playing great football. He got the team playing well, and he's got fresh ideas. He's still kind of young, kind of fresh into his manager
Right.
career for the
But great
relevant
though.
part, right? Great as well.
Yeah.
And so like I would love to be able to somehow convince him to drop that, but it's not a high chance considering
Yeah.
that he just got that European spot. He probably wants to keep going at least another season or two and a half time.
Yeah.
Um,
He's enjoying it a lot from what I hear, and I mean,
yeah,
understandably so. You're taking this team
understandably so.
to heights that they shouldn't be at right now, to be honest. So I get that.
For sure,
That makes
for
sense.
sure,
Yeah.
and that's totally why I don't think it will happen. But it's not like impossible. I could see it happening if things line up, maybe in the future. Um,
Right.
maybe he's taking a break like Jesse Marsh was, and this time we don't actually wait to jump on the opportunity.
True.
So that's my number one. That's my number one. That would be, I think, like great to see him have that all that talent on the roster and him use
I
that. I
like
think it'd
that.
be really
I
really good.
I think Matarazzo would be for me like a post 2026 World Cup. Unfortunately, like I think you get this
Yeah,
manager, sign him on an 18-month contract until then, and then after the World Cup, when this potential manager leaves, depending on that World Cup, then you get Matarazzo win because he'll have his fun with Hoffenheim. Then maybe he'll want to come back to the USA. I like that.
yeah, that's true. And there's also a good chance, some other European team picks him up because they like what they're
Yeah.
seeing. So, it's all very possible. But um, I think also then that leads me on to my next point. I was really torn on MLS coaches because I do think that obviously when you do really well in MLS, it's inflated a little, and
Right.
your ability might be a little lower than we think. And we saw that with Berhalter. Um, but I I think it
Berhalter.
would be.
I
Sorry,
don't
go
mean to
ahead.
interrupt
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Berhalter is if we're talking about MLS coaches that become the Usmnt coach, um, Berhalter is such a terrible example. Just because he didn't do anything in MLS anyways, and he still
That's
became
true.
the
That's
US
true.
men's national team coach. So beside the point, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, and that's a good point. But I think like I also think it would be not a good like it would be bad to just look over MLS coaches because at the end of the day, um, they are like our most like kind of promised
Hmm.
like product that we have. And so I was looking at a lot of the coaches right now. I saw three that came up a lot. There's obviously the LAFC coach, Steve Cherundolo.
Nope.
Um,
Nope.
there was the Philadelphia Union coach, Jim Curtin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the one that I thought was the most interesting was actually the current Columbus Crew coach, Wilfried
Wilfried
Nancy.
Nancy. Mm-hmm.
Um, I liked out of all those three, I liked him the most.
Yeah.
I thought, I was looking into his resume, into like what he was doing with the teams that not only Columbus Crew but Montreal. In fact, before this,
Right.
and he got the young. He played young players. developed him well. He played fast, attacking brand of football. He almost won Coach of the Year when he was with Montreal, but he lost
Mm-hmm.
to, I forget who it was, but he lost to someone. It might have been, actually, was it Steve? It might have been Steve. I don't remember, but
I think it was Steve.
basically, it might have been Steve. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I like Wilfried Nancy a lot. I
Yeah.
think if we would go MLS, that would be my choice. Admittedly, he's only been in the MLS, so of course I think it's a little bit of a we'll
Yeah.
see.
Skewed. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, but if we were to go for one, I'm not going to be super mad if we try him out. Not at all.
Yeah.
Why no, Elijah? You said no to Steve Cherundolo. Is it just because you want him to stay at LAFC, or is it like you
Oh,
want
I mean,
just
with Steve Trundle for me, it's just like, yeah, there's a lot more factors, obviously, because for those who don't know, for those who have not watched the MLS content of the channel before, I am an LAFC fan. But yes, one, I of course want him to stay at LAFC because I think he's doing a lot with the team. I think he's a fantastic manager, and he's done a lot for MLS, and is really one of the great managers in the country right now. So of course I want him to stay. I don't have faith that we'd get another coach to do similar things, but at the same time, I don't think he's a whole big of a step up compared to Gregg Berhalter in the way that the USA necessarily needs. I think right now this is what probably the most pivotal manager search in the history of the U.S. men's national team. And if you're picking an MLS manager like Dolo, I don't think it really sets the stage for the most promising next year and a half, next 2 years. Wilfried Nancy is the only MLS manager I would say, like, yes, if you sign him, you're kind of making a statement because he's, without a doubt, the best manager in the whole league. Mm-hmm. And I think he's able to do a lot with his team that many MLS managers have yet to do. So I think Wilfried Nancy would be a better pick. I just don't think Dolo brings enough, I guess, not hype, but motivation, I guess, in a way, to the U.S. men's national team. Don't get me wrong, he's a great manager, and I do think he'd do great things, and I do think if he were to be hired, a majority of people will be in denial of it and would be pretty opposed to it, but I'd be one who's like kind of more in favor of it. But still, I don't think he'd be as big of a signing as the U.S. and men's national team needs to make.
It's not a statement signing.
It's not a statement signing.
No.
Yeah,
Crocker did say he did want a statement signing in that sense.
Wait, say it again. Who wants statement signing?
Crocker.
Oh yeah, exactly. And
he said
at the same time, I don't trust it though. Crocker thinks a statement signing was rehiring Gregg Berhalter, so I don't trust him. I know that point. The reporters Tom Bogert whatnot are reporting that like Dolo will be in the mix, so I'm sure there will be talks to him. And then he was asked last night if he is going to be in the mix for the U.S. men's national team manager, and he said it wouldn't be right to talk about it in this moment. As of right now, he loves LA and whatever. So yeah, it wouldn't be.
They've approached me.
Yeah, I know, literally. He's like, yeah, right now, maybe in a week. Ask me again. It wouldn't be right for him to become the U.S. men's national team manager. Personally, I don't think he'd be the right fit. I do think he'd do good things, but I don't think he's the kind of manager we need. Wilfried Nancy is, however. Wilfried Nancy is the only MLS manager that I'd be okay with, personally. He would, I think, in general, a lot of people would be in favor from what I've gathered on social media, but Dolo just is not it right now. Personally, though, if I were to give my pick, it's got to be the Herve Renard. I mean, the French manager, coaches French women's national team. His contract is out in August right now. We all remember what he did in the World Cup, right? He led Saudi Arabia to beating Argentina. Do you guys remember the video of his dressing room halftime talk with the Saudi Arabia players?
I do remember that.
Yeah. He went in the dressing room halftime, and he was passionate about getting a result there. And mind you, doesn't speak Arabic. I'm pretty sure does not speak Arabic. Speaks French. He's a French-speaking man. I think he speaks a little bit of English too. And after that, Saudi Arabia scored 2 goals within 10 minutes after the halftime. And then they went on to win the game. And that's probably one of the biggest upsets I've ever experienced in the World Cup. So that was huge. I think a manager like him absolutely is the right fit for the U.S. men's national team, because also with the French women's national team, they were in a state of disarray before he came. Not the best team, even though they should. They have a lot of talented French players, of course. And he came and I think kind of like set the boat right on course. Like he did a lot of good things coming back, and I do think if he doesn't stay with him, they're going to miss him a lot. But I think he's the kind of person that needs to come. He also won AFCON twice. One with I think Zambia, I believe it was Zambia, and second one with Ivory Coast. And neither of those teams should have been winning it at the time. I mean, obviously, Ivory Coast had Yaya Toure, but at the time, neither of those teams should have been winning it. So he knows what to do. He has a lot of success with a lot of worse players than the U.S. men's national team has. If he comes to the U.S. men's national team, it's probably the best player pool he's ever had to work with on a men's national team. It's at least up there. So he is known to have worked with a lot of top players, a lot of top teams, and a lot of not top teams that he's made into a top team at the time at least. So I think he has to be the pick, even though he doesn't speak a lot of English. Like I don't care. I don't care. French is his main language. I don't care.
He has time to learn. He has time to learn. He can learn.
He has time to learn.
He's got till September.
Yeah,
That's the next transfer window.
2 months. Wow, September's in 2 months.
He's got time. He's got time. He can get on that Duolingo. Come on. Now.
Yeah. Duolingo sucks for learning languages, by the way. I try not Spanish, but it freaking sucks. Anyways,
no, bro, why'd you say that? The owl's gonna come after us now, dog.
I know.
If you don't hear from us, guys, it's the owl got us.
The Duolingo owl. The Get In Duolingo collab might go crazy, though. So we kind of need him to come after us.
The Get In Duolingo.
Get In Duolingo.
But one thing I will say about him not speaking English, right? This is not his first language. That's a great thing for the U.S. men's national team because I don't want this team to be comfortable. This team, the one issue, the biggest issue I had with Gregg Berhalter was that he was a friend to them, and in my opinion, that is not the way you need to be coaching this team. Carly Lloyd, I know obviously we have a lot of stick with Carly Lloyd. We don't like everything she says, but last week they were talking about the manager, and she was saying that when she was playing for the women's team, they didn't like their coaches. They did not like their coaches, but they won. They were winning. And after all, in the end, they liked their coaches. But during the time, they did not like their coaches because their coaches pushed them and pressured them and were aggressive towards them and whatnot. Obviously, Gregg Berhalter didn't do any of that. Tyler Adams was coming out saying, oh, he asked about my family and kids and how I was doing over the weekend. No. You can ask that and then be like, I don't care, and then start training. You can be friends, but not to the point where you're comfortable and not to the point where you're being picked for the men's national team because you're a friend.
I mean, I feel like it's a fun line you got to walk, just like to have a close relationship with your players, but also like make it like also professional in the sense of you're constantly pushing them, but you're not like the nice guy. Kind of like if you look at like Pep and like Jurgen Klopp, all that. Like you could say easily that you can tell that they have a close relationship with their players, but you're still able to get the best out of them. Yeah, but like it's also a hard example when you have like two of the best managers, arguably, of like all time you're talking about. But like it's different. But like they're able to figure out. Other managers are able to figure it out. But he went with the whole friend approach. So that was a problem. Yeah, I agree. I think that they need someone a little bit more serious. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have anyone in mind just because I know that no matter what we think about, it's not going to be that pick, no matter what. It's not going to be that.
Well, I think that the names that Diego and I mentioned, I think Wilfried Nancy and Herve Renard should be the top two prospects for this position. I think if there's two names you're going to put out there, it's these two. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp is in the mix. We talked about Jurgen Klopp a little before we started recording, but Jurgen Klopp is the perfect, ideal manager for the U.S. men's national team. He would... I get it. None of us are Liverpool fans. None of us like Liverpool as a team. But you can't not love Jurgen Klopp, I feel like. I love Jurgen Klopp. Mm-hmm. He knows how to spur on his team, the fans. He imagine him wearing a U.S. men's national team hat. That's all I can say. It fits. It fits. He knows how to spur on the fans. He knows how to spur on the team. He knows how to spur on his opponents when need be. He'd be the perfect thing. Obviously, he's world-renowned manager. He's done bits with Liverpool. He turned Liverpool around from the Daniel Sturridge days to the days of Mo Salah. He would be perfect. He's absolutely amazing, but it's never going to happen. Obviously, he was approached. He wants a break. I do think, though, if he didn't want a break, and obviously the U.S. men's national team is not going to wait for him to stop having a break. We're not going to have a manager for the next 7-8 months. Just to wait for him. That's not possible. Which is unfortunate, and I think it's the right person, wrong time kind of thing. But if he was a manager, that'd be freaking amazing. I think if he didn't want to break, I think he genuinely would consider being manager. I think that'd be such a good next step for Jurgen Klopp to not have to go back into the club scene for a little bit. Just go into the World Cup, and then afterwards go do what you want. But yeah, he's been approached apparently. He's also rejected the initial push, and I emphasize the initial push because there will probably be more if no one else works out. So yeah, but Jurgen Klopp would be the best. But I do think Wilfried Nancy, Dolo, and Herve Renard are probably the top three to looking at right now. I don't know of
And
anyone else.
yeah, I'm gonna just. And Crocker said that he's expecting to have the full-time manager done by September, which is the first international break. I just want to put
I'm not
that one out
surprised.
there.
He said he was asked. I forget about who. Some reporter asked him. Matt Crocker did say like he is a little bit more. He's been around the federation more, and he knows more of what we need and what we want compared to the last time he was looking for a manager. It's not a good cover up, Matt, to rehire Gregg Berhalter. There is no cover up to rehiring Gregg Berhalter, but it is a good thing to say now, and I really hope he means that. And doesn't hire Gregg Berhalter for a third time. Could you imagine if if the tweet was sent out today, we have decided to rehire Gregg Berhalter until the 2026 World Cup because we feel he's the right man to lead us? I think I would genuinely implode. Twitter would genuinely implode. That'd be insane. Thankfully, it's not going to happen. Gregg is more than likely going to go to MLS team, and I feel so sorry for the MLS team that signs him. Atlanta have an opening right now.
All
And I
the
think
players
Chicago
about to get a best friend. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's true. They might get a friend they might
New
have for
best
life.
friend,
A
yeah.
new best friend, dude.
Like, imagine he goes to freaking like the rumor was Chicago. I think the rumor. I don't know if it's not confirmed or anything, but the rumor was he was going to go to Chicago. Gregg Berhalter managing Shaqiri, like insane. Shaqiri's going to. If I were Shaqiri, I'd retire on the spot. But Gregg is just If MLS, my worst nightmare, I do feel as though I would have a genuine nightmare about this, is if Dolo was signed by the U.S. men's national team, and to replace him, LAFC signs Gregg Berhalter. I don't know what it would do. No, it
That'd be
wouldn't
really
be.
funny.
That would be
No,
great.
it wouldn't
That would be very
That'd be
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
No, what a step
We got
back.
Greg Vanny, and then you got Berhalter.
Oh, Greg Vanny, though, Greg Vanny's also a name that I think a lot of people have talked about, too.
That would be. Hey, all I'm saying is, people are dogging on him, but look what he was able to do once he had a transfer window. I mean, turn this team completely around.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, Greg
And
Vanny,
it's a young squad too. It's not an old squad anymore. It's a pretty young squad.
I don't think Greg Vanny is the right fit either for the U.S. national team. I think he fits the same bill as Dolo. Nor would Galaxy fans, I think, want him to leave right now. I think if you said this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, like maybe at the beginning of the Gregg Berhalter cycle, I do think he would have been a good option. Actually, in Football Manager, he's always goes to the U.S. men's national team, and he does really good with the USA. It's kind of funny, but I don't think he's the right option. I don't think he should be picked. I don't think he's a bad option per se, but I do think that he's not the right pick in a time where we need the best of the best. Which is why I'm going to segue over to Zinedine Zidane. I don't know if you've approached him yet. I'm just kidding.
I was just saying.
Imagine what we'd be talking about right now, or the state we'd be in as USA fans if Jesse Marsch was hired like a year ago when Gregg was rehired.
Yeah. We'd be excited. We'd be excited for this.
We'd probably be in the semifinal of the Copa America. Dude, Jesse Marsch has been one of my favorite things at the Copa America. And we'll talk about this more in this next video that we're about to record for the grading CONCACAF teams. But Jesse Marsch, man, he would have embodied America. He would have worn USA flag underwear to every single game. And we probably would have known about it too. He probably would have told us about it.
We would have seen it.
I would have hoped so.
I would think so. I think I'll be looking. I'll be looking.
If the next manager, if you're going into the World Cup and you tell the fans, I want every single fan to know, I bleed red, white, and blue, and I wear USA boxers during every match. I don't think there's anything else you can say that would spur it on more, that would spur on the fans more than that statement right there.
Agreed.
That'd be amazing.
That's something. That is something, guys.
I think I'm gonna have to do that. I need to buy some now for the 2026 World Cup. I'll take on if the boss of the time doesn't do it, I will
take the mantle.
I'll have to.
The boxer mantle.
I'll have to, if I really, really need to. Okay. Well, do you guys have any other managerial opinions that you want to bring up at all before we move on to our next video?
I think I've seen some discussion online about too many elite managers, and I think people have to realize while we're a promising team, we're not the top of the top.
Yeah, guys are
So
shit.
all that Thomas Tuchel, um, I don't know
Oh,
who else was there. There's some other ones I saw, but all those like top
yeah.
managers that are not in management, we're not gonna. It's
Yeah,
not gonna
the
happen.
other, I had some names that are not in management right now that are just left big clubs that I've seen being thrown around that are not going to happen. But
Pochettino,
there was
another one,
actually
not gonna happen.
Pochettino, um, Stefano Pioli who just left Milan,
Yeah,
Xavi who just left Barcelona. Yeah, it's not happening, guys. None of these
no,
managers, they're great
it's
managers. Don't
not.
get me wrong. And while I do think that if you're looking to manage a national team, the USA is the way to go. If I was a international manager without a job, I would love to go to the USA because a lot of pressure, yes, but pressure makes diamonds. First of all, not a big commitment. You can only sign on for 18 months to 2 years, and then you can be done with it afterwards and go back to whatever you want to do. And you have a very promising player pool. Yeah, and not to mention, if you do good, you can go down as a freaking legend of the game just by doing this. So, but still, it's not tempting enough to bring freaking Mauricio Pochettino or Thomas Tuchel over.
Hmm.
I would
Hmm.
love that, but one, not a good fit in my opinion, and two, they wouldn't do it. Be realistic.
I think
Be
Pochettino actually
realistic.
would low key be a good fit, but that's
I
beside the
think he'd be
point.
a decent fit. I just don't. I don't think.
It's just not gonna
He's not
happen.
going to do it. He's not going to do it.
No, no, of course not. No, I mean
Yeah.
that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying
Right. Right.
fit
Right.
wise, the way he played, at least
But,
with Tottenham in those early years, I think would actually be
mm,
perfect.
that's fair.
Your
Bro,
glory
I
days
was seeing names like bring Bob Bradley back,
of
and what
Jared
the
Freeze.
what are you doing? What are we talking about?
He's on to bigger, better things, right? He's with San Diego FC.
I don't even think it's confirmed yet. That was just I think that was like the rumor confirmed like a month ago, and it has nothing's happened with it
Hey,
since. But
Landon Donovan.
okay,
No, he needs
people.
to fix his hair
Hey,
before he even gets seen on that touchline, dog.
okay, just wear a baseball cap. It's okay.
That's true.
We'll be
That's
okay
true.
with it.
Okay, people have thrown out. There's three names in the U.S. men's national team scene that there's four names in the U.S. men's national team scene that people have thrown out that I'm not the most opposed to, but I don't think should be. Clint Dempsey is one. Now, managerial wise, don't know how good he is. Don't really think he's going to be that good. But imagine having Clint Dempsey on the sideline. Alexi Lalas.
Fuck
Personally,
God,
no.
that'd be
Personally,
hilarious
no.
though.
Personally, no.
Do you
But
think he
I
would
do
attack
think
himself like he does on television if they
no,
have a
of
bad
course
game
not.
or
He would
something?
just do more ranking top 10 U.S. American strikers and have Jesus Ferrero as number two. No. Um, Tim Howard, again, don't think it's his kind of gig, but God, would
I
I
think
love to
he
see that
likes his
ball trying to
job
hit on the touchline.
I think he
Oh
likes his
yeah,
job at NBC Sports.
Yeah, I mean, he's enjoying himself. He's
I
enjoying
do fuck
himself.
with Tim Howard though. I think Tim Howard as a person is a cool guy. I like him a
Yeah.
lot.
I
Apparently
love
he's
Tim
really
Howard.
intense. He's really intense during training.
I'm not surprised.
But
I'm
That's
not
good.
surprised.
That's good. That's how he played Everton for that long. There's no way you
That's
can be
true.
sandy otherwise.
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
Yeah.
Last name is Len Donovan, of course. Truthfully, I know he may
No.
be a good manager. Don't get me wrong. And
he
he
owned a
managed San
club. He
Diego.
owned
He
a
managed
club.
SD Loyal actually when they were a thing. But
R.I.P.
yeah.
Now they're on to bigger and better things.
Well, I don't. Well, that's beside the point. That's beside the point. That's a different discussion to have that we've already had before, and we may have again. Um, Len Donovan though, yeah, fix the hair, fix the hairline before you're on the touchline. That's all I'll say. Please don't get anywhere close. Otherwise, stick to what we're doing, Matt Crocker. And also, Matt Crocker, resign, please. I don't like Matt Crocker at all. I
They
don't
should
think many people
hire
do.
us. I think we would do a really fantastic job on the scene. More of the story is that hire us.
Yeah, what I don't understand is why don't federations just purely listen to fans? Like, I would imagine, right?
Politics, my friend.
I mean, politics, of course, but I would imagine the communal consensus thought has more legs to it than a group of four people, and two of them don't know what the offsides rule is in the USMNT Federation, like headquarters. That's all I'll say. Okay, we're running out of time here to move on to the next video, so let's just cut this one here. But if you guys have any opinion on who you want to be the next U.S. Men's National Team Manager, let us know in the comments down below. And if you want more U.S. Men's Team content, of course, we're gonna have a lot for you in this upcoming 2 years. That's crazy. That's crazy that we're probably gonna be doing this during the 2026 World Cup too. anyways, if you guys want more content up until then with the U.S. Men's National Team, make sure to subscribe now, turn notifications on for all videos released about this country and all other countries in CONCACAF and the world generally. And yeah, leave a like on this video if you're so happy that Gregg Berhalter is gone. We'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, take care, guys.